After a moment, and Yingjing regained enough strength to stare in shock at Zuo Wan, who seemed completely unaffected by his pheromones. He marveled inwardly. Her resistance was simply extraordinary. He watched Zuo Wan walk over to Qian Mao, exchange a few words, then her expression shifted and she turned to leave. Guzhi had been standing in the shadows, obscured by the surrounding crowd, and with an Yingjing seated. He had not seen Zuo Wan carry Guzhi way on her back. "Qian, what's going on?" And Yingjing grabbed the passing student by the arm. "Did your captain get injured or something?" Qian Mao himself was utterly confused. "The captain isn't hurt." "Then, what did Zuo Wan say to you?" "Nothing much. She just asked if we had hemostatic covalent and earth inhibitors." "Earth inhibitor?" And Yingjing's mind flashed back to how Guzhi had been clutching his neck earlier. Could his heat cycle have arrived? He'd heard Guzhi had differentiated unusually late, and Earth individuals with late differentiation tended to suffer more severely during heat. "Where is your captain now?" And Yingjing pressed. In looking for him too, Qian Ma's hands were covered in blood. He'd had several matters to discuss with Guzhi, but the man was nowhere to be found. Yingjing's face paled. Zuo Wan must have taken Guzhi to get the inhibitor. But given his condition exposed for so long to the red spider lily pheromones, standard inhibitors would be useless. After all, if red spider lily pheromones could be blocked with ordinary suppressants, they would not be classified as the rarest known pheromone. Nor would the gas hero empire have risked exposure by deploying so many spies hidden in the capital. A twinge of guilt pricked in Yingjing. Guzhi had rushed here to save him, and it had triggered his heat. He considered warning the first military academy, but decided against it, knowing it would only bring shame to Guzhi. He fell silent, leaning quietly to the side. In summary, Zuo Wan stiffened, his arms wrapped around her waist from behind. She covered the hands with her own, gently pried them away, and turned around. "I'm going to get the inhibitor. I'll be right back." Guzhi was lost in his own haze, displeased at having his hands pulled away. His lips pressed into a thin line as he stared at her without speaking. Zuo Wan had seen him like this before, but last time she had only been fighting off physical pain. This time she had first smelled the red spider lily, expending immense willpower to resist its pull. Now, confined in the small infirmary with Guzhi, overwhelmed by the sweet, overwhelming scent of iris, her head felt fuzzy. She looked down at her captured hand and did not pull away again. Leading Guzhi to the medicine shelf, she coaxed him to release one hand. Finding the earth inhibitor, she bit open the package and drew the liquid into a syringe with one hand. Any differentiated person would be familiar with this, and administering suppressants to Guzhi was nothing new to her. But on the night of their coming -age ceremony, Guzhi had worn loose sleepwear. She had only needed to roll up his sleeve. Now he was dressed in his military uniform, the top button fastened tightly. Zuo Wan turned him around, leaned him against a nearby table, set the syringe down, and began unbuttoning his coat. She had only undone 2 buttons when Guzhi suddenly rested his head on her shoulder and closed his eyes. His long lashes trembled slightly, his warm breath fanning her neck, making her uncomfortable. Given the circumstances, she did not push him away and continued unbuttoning his coat. His arms circled her waist again, and he nuzzled her neck unconsciously, breathing in the faint scent of ice and snow. His entire body burned, and he craved the coolness of her skin. Zuo Wan tried to remain unmoved, like a block of wood, and finally undid all the buttons. The stiff fabric of the coat resisted as she pulled it down past his shoulders. Guzhi. She lifted his face with her right hand, finding it fit perfectly in her palm. Guzhi lifted his head obediently. Under the infirmary lights, his sweat-slicked face glistened, his beautiful eyes misty and unusually alluring as he glanced at her. Zuo Wan's throat tightened at the look. She turned away. calmed herself for a long moment, then turned back, expressionless, and tore his coat off, letting it fall to the floor. It was late, and unexpected though he wore a military jacket. Beneath it he still had on his sleepwear. Zhuo Wo now saw that the fabric was soaked through with sweat. Combined with the pervasive iris scent, there was only one explanation. Jia's heat cycle had arrived. She rolled up his sleeve, slipped one arm around him to support his weight, picked up the syringe, and injected the inhibitor into his arm. She tossed the used syringe into the nearby trash can and held the limp man, waiting for the drug to take effect. At one point, she considered injecting herself with a sky suppressant, but decided against the effort. Instead, she held him close, gently patting his back to soothe him. I knew Zhuo Wohuan was near. All the strategic thoughts in his mind vanished, leaving only the urge to be touched by her. Zhuo Wohuan had not realized the inhibitor was useless until I grew even weaker, tilting his head back with red-rimmed eyes, nearly whimpering, "It hurts." The infirmary's circulation system seemed to have failed. Zhuo Wohuan stared blankly. If the system was working, why couldn't it filter out the overwhelming iris scent? She was a perfectly ordinary sky hunter, and had already moved to rest on the back of his neck. Leaned his lower body against the table, his upper body slumped in Zhuo Wohuan's arms, face buried in her shoulder, exposing the nape of his neck to her. Even before differentiated, Zhuo Wohuan had repeatedly been drawn to his slender, pale neck. Now as an earth he presented himself in such a soft, submissive posture. She whispered close to his ear. "Do you want me to help you?" The man buried in her shoulder was delirious with fever, unable to hear her. Even if he had comprehended, he lacked the strength to respond. Zhuo Wohuan no longer held back her pheromones. The room's sweet iris clashed with her frigid ice and snow, merging into the misty scent of a forest after spring rain. Almost cruelly, she pushed him away and asked slowly, deliberately, "Do you want my help?" Sky possessed innate cruelty. The higher their rank, the more pronounced it became, especially toward the earth they desired. It manifested as dominance and possessiveness. His eyes reddened. He could not stand beneath the suffocating blanket of ice pheromones, gripping the table to keep from collapsing. His beautiful eyes stared at her, overwhelmed by sorrow and grievance. He could not make out her words, only that she had pushed him away. For a split second, clarity returned. He tried to walk toward the door, but his legs felt like they were stepping on cotton. He stumbled after a few steps. Zhuo Wohuan stepped forward quickly and caught him, sighing inwardly, "Fine." She pulled him back into her arms and soothed him carefully. Her once sharp, icy auras softened into a gentle coolness, calming the earth in heat. Your heat has started. "The inhibitor won't work," she murmured, stroking the nape of his neck, her calloused fingertips brushing his soft skin. "I'm going to help ease your pain when you wake up." "I apologize." I did not reply, only nuzzled her neck obediently. Nothing like his usual cold, dignified self. Zhuo Wohuan lifted her hand from his neck, leaned closer, and breathed in the sweet, thick iris scent pouring from him. Finally, she kissed him with absolute dominance. Her pheromones intertwined with his iris fragrance, blooming into the warm, damp air of a post-rain forest. Touched with sweetness, I tensed, then relaxed under her comfort, eventually collapsing limply in her arms. Their sensations differed. Zhuo Wohuan felt complete, unshakable possession over the man in her arms. I felt marked, claimed irrevocably. The one thing they shared was an unbreakable bond forged in that moment. Zhuo Wohuan pulled back, noticing him tremble. A flicker of softness crossed her face as she coaxed. It doesn't hurt anymore. Under the influence of their pheromones, they clung to each other, mind and body deeply attuned. Only when the intense scents were gradually cleared by the circulation system did they move. Guzhi lifted his head slightly, gazing at her with misty, beautiful eyes. His long lashes were damp, his bangs stuck to his forehead with sweat. Zuo Wowan brushed the wet hair from his face, her fingertips sliding down to his chin. She asked gently, "Should we change your clothes first?" Guzhi stared at her for a long while before murmuring. The infirmary kept disposable change of clothes for cadets who were injured or had accidents. Though they had agreed to change, neither moved. They stood quietly holding each other. His hands rested on her waist, his mind chaotic thoughts racing. Yet empty, reduced to the primal earth instinct of attachment to his sky. High-ranking sky and earth formed far deeper bonds than ordinary people. In the coming days, Zuo Wan and Guzhi, I would be locked in an inseparable emotional tie. Just as Zuo Wan now felt. From that moment on, her entire being centered on him. The urge to protect him constant. Guzhi. I closed his eyes and rested his head on her shoulder for a moment, then whispered, "I want a scent blocking patch." Zuo Wan looked at him, using her thumb to wipe the sweat from his cheek. Guzhi instinctively nuzzled her palm, slowly opening his eyes with a faint, quiet smile. Such meek, yielding sweetness in an earth held an irresistible allure for his sky.